Captain on the bridge.
Alright, captains, we are back on the bridge, and today, yes, we will be on the monitor. Now, captains, before we get into this video, do me a favor, like the video and also subscribe here to the YouTube bridge, as we are always on the lookout for like-minded captains where we can share our love and passion for Star Trek Online, but also things Star Trek. Now, with that said, here we go. Yes, captains, you know we did already a recent video on the Hydra, and we know that these ships are also from the 13th anniversary bundle that recently released. I did not get it, but opted to just get the individual ships that I wanted, and we've made videos leading up to its release, and the monitor was something that really took our interest because the Nebula, aka what I lovingly call it, the Battle Pancake, is a ship that I actually do like and love. And the idea of it being a hangar actually really appealed to me because, of course, with the Nebula, it had that modular design in mind with the pod. And of course, we can see here the pod that they put on this indeed is a hangar. And I thought that was really cool. Not only is it a hangar, but it also has torpedo launchers on it. So, captains, you know I love my torpedoes. And for this to sort of be a torpedo boat along with the hangar actually just makes a lot of sense to me. So what we're going to do is go over the build, the weapons, space set, the consoles, stations, traits, stations on DOF, and then take it into a Cure Advance. Okay. Now, the one thing I wanted to go over before doing so, though, is the blog about the monitor. So I'm just going to read it here off screen. And I kind of really did love how they sort of created the lore for the ship, it being, of course, from the Terran side of things. So, Terran, Monitor, Miracle, Worker, Carrier. Try saying that 3 times fast. Versatility and breadth of utility have led to the development of this vessel for the Terran Empire. Although similar development goals served the Federation when they built our universe's versions of the same ship, the applications and mythology are vastly different. The Monitor is built to serve as a sort of support strike ship, launching fighters to harass enemies while providing backup to the rest of their fleet in the form of various debilitating techniques. So, again, love that little blog there about the ship. Makes sense. And having said that, the look of the ship even makes a lot of sense to me. It does actually look like a very sleek and aggressive ship. And that's why, hence, we, of course, decided to go with the torpedo boat. And the reason being is I'm not a Sci-Fu captain. I have respect for it. Of course, if that's your playstyle, captains, no problem. But for me personally, I would rather go torpedoes. And I remember doing a build on the Jirok Alliance carrier and really having fun with that. So it just feels more natural to me to do so with this. So let's go over the build here. Yes, there it is. The ISS Battle Pancake 2.0. Yes, that's what I named it. So here, we'll start with the 4 weapons here. This is what we decided to go with. One of my favorite torpedoes in game, the gravimetric photon torpedo. Captains, you know this is one of my favorite. So much so that I know that I might get killed, but we'll try not to in this video here. But this is from your Dyson rep. And yes, we already re-rolled that to have crit DM damage 4. And of course, it also does benefit from a plus 2% bonus all damage. And that's because we also got our reps up to tier 6. So there we go with that. Next torpedo up is the Neutronic Torpedo Launcher. Again, re-roll to crit DM damage 4. This is from your Delta rep. And again, it actually benefits from the plus 2% bonus all damage, so why not? And it says it right there, Delta Alliance tier 6 reached. Next up, just because it's Terran, we'll use the Terran Task Force Photon Torpedo. So it does have the crit DM damage 3 with the proc, again, benefiting from the plus 2% bonus all damage because we reached tier 6. Now, the benefit of this one with the proc, so it says damage dealt increases as target's hull decreases up to 200% damage at 25% hull. So it literally is like the beam version and or the cannon version from the Terran rep, and it just made sense here to have that. We're going with the purple torpedo because, again, with what we saw with lower decks, with the Texas class shooting purple torpedoes, and of course having difference in technology in the Terran universe, we thought, you know what, they also have purple torpedoes. Why not? Space set here, nothing too different. So the Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter Deflector from your fleet colony, the prevailing innovated impulse engines from your competition rep, the mycelial harmonic matter antimatter core, and the Tilly's Review pending modified shield, both from the Discovery rep. In the aft, what we decided is to utilize those launchers in the back to shoot out mines, and this is what we went with. So the Elite Fleet Janur Tricobalt mine launcher from your, again, the fleet colony. The Thoron infused quantum mine launcher. This is from your Delta Reputation dilithium store. Again, re-roll their DM damage times 4. These things hit pretty hard. And so does these Tricobalt mine launchers. So if I'm not careful though, I can get one-shotted with these because that's how powerful they are. And we also got the Tetrion mine launcher, which is a reward from one of the episodes there in the Klingon arc, I believe. But this was just in our inventory, and there's a reason for that we're using this Tetrion mine launcher, and we'll get to that when we get to the console of this ship. For devices, we have, of course, our Torp Candy for its plus 30% bonus projectile damage. The Kobayashi Maru Transponder for its buff goodness, but also this will act as something that will help us also in combat, in the pew-pews. And the Delta Alliance Reinforcements Beacon, now that I think of it, I can actually just use this from my actual inventory. So why not just put that there? Because we still have access to it here in our tray here. All we got to do is just put that on there. And then here, why not use an additional help for some damage resistance rating? So we'll use that. There you go. We'll put this here at the top here to help, again, to help us a little, because we'll be one ship in that whole TFO there. So anything that will help. So there you go. We'll use that. We'll actually save it just in case. Again, lovely thing about these, you can always change them on the fly. And again, we still have access to the Alliance beacon, but also not even that. Also, we have the access to the Beacon of Kalis. So we're going to make it pretty bright there, captains. And again, there's a reason for that. Kind of the theme that we're going on for here. So consoles, go for the Lorca's custom fire controls. Again, this is also known as the Lorcator from the Discovery rep. 3.9 critical chance, but also the 157.5 Starship shield pen. Next up, we got the Dynamic Power Redistributor Module, or DPRM, from the Atlas, aka Prototype Dreadnought, which you can get from your event campaign, for the 11.3 all damage resistance rating. Now, it does also give 90% directed energy damage. We don't have that, but it might help one of our other consoles here, which we'll get to in a bit. But its clicky is what we're going to be using it for. So when we click it, for 20 seconds plus 40% bonus damage. So bonus usually does mean category 2, cat 2 damage, while hull is above 80%. Plus 100 bonus damage resistance rating, and plus 500% hull regen. Now we are going to be using it with the Point Defense Bombardment Warhead for the plus 25% projectile damage and its cute 1% critical chance. Now on an energy build, this will help a lot, because the two-piece does give extra damage to Phaser, Disruptor, and Plasma, but we don't have that other than the one console that we'll come to later. Now, we're going to go and use the console that actually came with this, just because why not? It came with it. So it's called the Automated Heavy Tetrion Emitters. So plus 28.5% Tetrion damage. And then, of course, it does give you the same 28.5 Starship Drain expertise. But it's an automated heavy Tetrion emitters, so it's an AoE Tetrion and shield drain chains 2 others. So each 2 seconds for 20 seconds to 2 random foes, 6,410.7 Tetrion damage and an additional 1,856.3 shield drain. So the Borg's gonna like that. They're gonna probably say, you're just tickling me at this point. If foes nearest shield facing is 10% or lower, also chains to an additional random nearby foe and applies 10% increased Tetrion damage to self for 30 seconds, stacks up to plus 50%. I don't use Tetrion damage a lot. I will here and there, like that mine there. I've used that before in torpedo builds just because I have it. But just to keep with the theme of this ship and what it came with, we're going to pair it up with that Tetrion mine that we showed earlier in the aft weapon slots. Next up, we're going to go use the Ordnance Accelerator from your Gamma Rep. Again, for its minus 1.5 second shared mine recharge time, but also 20%, 26.3% projectile weapon damage there. And of course, you see there the plus 20% mine recharge speed. So that is the same thing description there, again, from your Gamma Rep. Next up is a ferrofluid hydraulic assembly. It's from your Terran Rep. So a lot of good things from the Terran Rep here. And this is all theme-based of using their things that you can get easily from your reputation. But we're using it, of course, for 2 things. One, actually a couple of things. Plus 13% maximum hit points. So that's going to feed into our Tyler's Duality. More hull means more crit chance. Plus 3.9 aux power setting. Help with our launching of our fighters. And minus 0.5 second shared torpedo recharge time. So help get our torpedoes out more quickly. Now, this does actually have a 2-piece. And the 2-piece here is plus 13.3% projectile weapon damage. So yeah, it's going to help us a lot. Next up here, we have the Swarmer Matrix. It's a plus 30% turn speed, flight speed, and damage for your hangar pets and targetable torpedoes with a plus 50 projectile weapon training. So it's going to help get this gravimetric torp further out from me so I don't actually blow myself up, but also it does have a pet as well. And again, we'll get into that later that you can click. And this, we just got off the exchange a long time ago. Next up, we have the Bioneural Infusion Circuits for the straight up 26.2 crit severity, but also the 29.5 Starship hull capacity, which again feeds into Tyler's Duality. We get this from the Low-Buy store. Now, we do have some directed energy damage on this, or sets that will help this. So it may help this, the Experimental Power Redirection, which is from the Excel 2.0, the Excelsior 2.0 from Star Trek Picard. There has increased 19.9% increased energy damage, but also 13.3 Starship weapon amplification, improves critical hit severity with weapons. And essentially, this is a symphony of beam overload under thaw. That's exactly what it did. It says here it switches between both, but it literally is just a beam overload under thaw, and I love it. So as you can see, I don't have phasers on this build. It's all torpedoes and mines, so this is going to act as my phaser because it's hard to have a Federation / Terran ship without phasers, and this is going to act as it. Now, we are going to use the harmonic yield distribution via radial aperture. I love saying that. It's so cool. This is actually from the Hydra, and this is what it gives us. So plus 30% turn speed, flight speed, and damage for your hangar pets and targetable torpedoes. 20% increase cannon damage. We don't have cannons here, but that's okay. We're using it for the pets, helping out the pets and the targetable torpedoes that we are going to be shooting out. But the reason why we also have all these pets here with us, the Kobayashi Maru, the Delta Alliance beacon transponder, and also the beacon of Kalis, is this: engage the Hydra, brings pets to self, fire cones of phaser damage, stops the ship briefly and teleports pets in front of it. The ship and all pets perform the following attack: to self after 3 seconds, engage Hydra, to random target 9,971.7 phaser damage. The ship itself fires 3 times, as do any separated ship sections such as multi-vector or saucer sections. Of course, we don't have that here, but we're using it for the bonus goodies there and the actual clicky, which hopefully we can capture on screen. but it is a fun console to just see all your pets literally come in front of you and just shoot out phaser damage. It's hilarious. So there you go. Again, that is from the Hydra, which of course is from the 13th anniversary bundle. Next up, we're going to use the Tri-Cobalt Tear Launcher, plus 19% mine and torpedo damage, plus 47.5 Starship shield penetration. And this is from your Appalachian Blockade, or the AKA the Tier 6 Steam Runner. Love this console. It looks like a bunch of quantum torpedoes firing, but it actually does give us some passive damage there as well. And lastly, we're going to be using the Sensor Suspension Burst. This console is from the Jirok Alliance carrier. Now, captains, I know we did a video there recently with that ship now going into not only to the Mud store, but also a Muds bundle. And I'm using it because I have the ship. We did the event, but it does actually help this build out and the theme that we're going for here. So it gives us a plus 2.9% crit chance. It helps us with our Ox power setting there. And what it is a team-wide placate and critical hit buff for pets. So to self and allied players within 20 clicks, 20% critical hit chance for 5 seconds, resets Hangar Bay recharge time. To player, Hangar Pets, and summons within 20 clicks, 30% crit hit chance for 20 seconds, placate foes within 10 clicks for 20 seconds. So it's going to help this build. As you can see, I don't even have any locators here. We're trying to synergize the build as much as we can with what we got here. Now the Hangar Bays here, we do have the Elite Valkyrie Fighter Squadron. I just had these from the Norway and bought them then, so just we're going to use that. But you can see there, their fire pulse cannons, photon torpedoes there. So it's going to use that to help us. And it is hilarious seeing your fighters just fight alongside you with all the pew-pews on screen. So with that said, stat-wise, this gives us 39.2% crit chance and a crit severity of 178.2%. Captains, keep in mind, I do have my Pendevers helping me. I do have it ranked to 600. I can go to 750, but for the most part, we do fine in our nightly pew-pews and or the content that we play. So we find there's really no point other than if you want to min-max. And even though when I'm min-maxing, I still have my Pendever rank 600, we do fine. So I'm just doing it to the point, to make a point, I should say, that it's nice to have, but it's not really needed. So that is just my thoughts behind it. So there is that. We're going to go to the skills. We have here in engineering, we have 8 points, Psi 10, and TAC 28. In the engineering, we're concentrating more on the hull capacity, the hull plating, electroplasma system flow for our warp core, and of course, more warp core potential goodness. In the science, we're concentrating on control expertise, drain expertise, also exotic particle generator, and our improved long range targeting sensors. TAC, we filled everything out except for this, advanced defense maneuvering, but everything else is maxed out. We just, of course, didn't go with defensive coordination. We went with offensive coordination there. And there you see accuracy and base damage for your Hangar Pets. So, and plus 5% accuracy and base damage for all teammates and summoned allies. So that is it there. Captain, if you want to have a look at that, that's what I've been running for years. I have not touched this for, I think, maybe 5+ years. So it's there. Specialization, we have, of course, Intel primary and temporal secondary. Traits, this is what we got going on. A good day to die. Hot pursuit for our mines. Kinetic precision for its 10% projectile shield penetration. So personal space rate, we decided to use this. Feel the weight of our presence. So we're going to actually read this one. I normally don't, but again, for the theme of this build, I think this is going to help. There might be a better trait out there, but that's okay. We had it, so we thought, you know what, we'll use it. So space trait, each friendly ship on the map debuffs damage resistance rating of foes within 12 clicks by 0.5 for 10 seconds, attacking up to, or stacking I should say, up to 12.5 for 25 allies. Mines and torpedoes don't count, but hangar pets, distress beacons, turrets, and all other forms of allies do. Hence why we're going to be using that Alliance beacon along with the Kalis beacon. So there you go. Why not use it? We have it. We haven't used it on any of their builds previously, so we'll use that. Next up, superior projectile training. Resonating payload modification. Unconventional systems. Terran targeting systems. Intelligence agent attaché. And the Boimler effect. Now for Starship traits, and yes, captains, I did not T6X this ship. I don't feel that I need to for the gameplay that we do here. Again, I'm making that clear. I don't necessarily T6X upgrade all my ships because I just feel it's just not necessary. It's fun, yes, if you have an extra console, extra trait slot, but we try to make do and make things work for us with less, just to show that you don't need to max out everything to get through content here in Star Trek Online. But we are going to be using superior air denial. There, of course, when activating fire at will or scatter volley, grants a fire at will and scatter volley to your hangar pets. So that's going to help upgrade your energy weapons for 20 seconds. And of course, to targets, minus 30 all damage resistance rating for 5 seconds. So thought we would use that. Next up here, we have entwine tactical matrices. And yes, we are going to be using the Strike Group Command Authority, which is from the Hydra. Bonus damage for pets based on the strongest pet. So with the fighters, it's plus 30% bonus damage, and that is Cat 2. We have next up here Universal Designs. And lastly, we're going to use Rapid Emitting Armaments. Hopefully we don't destroy ourselves with this, because when using tractor beams, we fire 3 hyperplasma torpedoes. They're heavy plasma torpedoes, but it does give us, when activating tractor beam, 50% bonus torpedo weapon damage for 10 seconds. So there you go. Space Rep, we have Omega Kinetic Shearing, Advanced Targeting Systems, Torpedo Pre-Fire Sequence, Precision, and there you go, Tyler's Duality. And based off of our hull capacity and all the things boosting our hull capacity, we have 4.9% critical chance. Not that bad. Active Space Reputation, we have nothing too different. Anti-time entanglement singularity, Biomolecular Shield Generator, Deploy Sensor Interface Platform, Quantum Singularity Manipulation, and Refracting Tetryon Cascade. Now we go to our stations. This is what we got working on here. So left, right, top to bottom, we have Heisenberg, Amplifier, Mines Dispersal Pattern Beta 1, Recursive Shearing, Stop Hitting Yourself Power, Beam Fire at Will, Cannon Scatter Volley, and our main damage dealer here is Torpedo High Yield 3, hence why I have to be careful with the gravimetric torpedo, but I can't help it. It's, like I said, one of my favorite torps in game. Next up, Emergency Powered Engines. One of my favorite powers under Miracle Worker, Destabilize Warp Core, because the animation explosion looks really cool. That's about the reason why I'm using it, because it looks cool. We're also going to use Delayed Overload Cascade. That's going to give an additional kinetic damage there. Photonic Shockwave. And one of the things that will help us as well is Mix Armament Synergy 3. And again, a Miracle Worker power. You activate, let's say, what I'm going to do here is activate Beam Fire at Will or Cannon Scatter Volley, and that will actually help our torpedoes and mines out for a plus 50% bonus all damage when we hit that. So hit that, hit Thaw or Scatter Volley, boom, we get extra boost to our mines and torpedoes. Not that bad. Of course, we have the tractor beam here and scramble sensors. Now we go to our dupes. I probably gave captains a headache looking at my inventory there. It is what it is. So the 2 helping us in ground, as always, Neil Falconer, so increased damage versus the Berg, and Elder Malikaton, increased damage versus all. And our actual DOFs slotted in the space slots here at Projectile Weapons Officer, we've got 3 of them. 1 to help us the chance reduce the time of recharge of mines, and the other 2 will give us a chance to stack crit severity when we fire projectiles. And to round it off, we have Mercy Con to recharge our evasive maneuvers when we hit emergency powered engines, so we do need to move around the map. Delirine, again, space increased damage versus Zeeberg, and just because we want him on our crew, Brad Boimler. This is the Terran version, I'm just going to say it. This is the Terran version of Brad Boimler. That'd be hilarious. Toxic clouds from torpedoes. And yes, we have torpedoes. So, captains, there's the build. And I will say this has been fun to be in. And if I'm ever going to do, and we will definitely do a carrier theme night on stream, definitely this will be the ship that we'll bring out, because it does look pretty cool and pretty mean. So, like I said, we're going to go into a Cure Advance. And what we're going to do is the following. When we get onto the map, we're going to go target the left cube, try to clear up that as much as we can, and then race across to the right side. And as we're doing that, clear out all the targets heading to the Kang, because we have to protect the Kang as best as we can. And then clear the right cube, clear whatever else we missed up, and then head for the center and then finish off. So let's see how we do. Like I said, I've been having a lot of fun with this ship. It's been just so fun. And maybe just because it is a Federation ship or design, it's more or less making it easier for me to make it work for my playstyle, but also the ships that I do love in Star Trek, which are more the Federation design. But here we go. Let's launch as many things as we can here. Mines, fighters. Let's see how we do here. We don't have a lot of time here, so get that out, get that out, get our mines out, target this. And as soon as we get that, target there, start buffing up here. Take care of that. Clears that. Let's take care of that raptor there if we can. We have our phasers going off. Let's go over here. Let's call our beacons here. Use the Tetrion thing it comes with. Now we're gonna race over here to try to get rid of this. There. We just can't make the Kang get down to a certain level. Have our fighters. See, look at that. All the fight. It's just all the pew-pews. It's absolutely a sight to behold. Just check over here. Everything's clear. Let's take out this side here. Now this does drift, and it kind of makes sense that it drifts, because with that hangar pod, it probably just kind of a heavier added weight to it, so get rid of that. Also use our cube is being stubborn, so we'll do that. We'll take care of these. Just make sure the Kang is doing fine. I think she took a couple shots, but we're doing fine. We have a stray sphere here trying to come from behind. We'll take care of that, or my fighters will. Take care of this one raptor, and then we'll head over to those Negvars heading to the Kang. That there. Why not use this? Hydra, boom! Oh, that is so fun. I could have used it here, but I didn't. We have this to help us. And we got a Pendeverdon, so that's awesome. Get rid of the wrap. Look at all. Look at that. That's just. I get now why it's fun to do carrier builds. I get it. I get it. It probably won't replace my other sort of playstyle ships, but it's pretty fun, I will admit. And the Kang's doing fine. Didn't fall below 75%, took a couple hits, but she is still doing okay. Okay, now tell it to get out of here. Wait for the last group here. Launch of fighters. Let's use this again. Buff up here. Go, my pretties. Go. And I forgot to go in closer for additional plasma torpedoes from my tractor beam, but there you go, captains. This is a fun test to do here in Cure CSA because you have to think about protecting the Kang. So as much as we like doing the Elite Argala, really, captains, like I said, we build these because this is the type of game play that we do nightly here on the bridge. So why not? Could this do it Elite? Sure. Not Elite Cure though. This is not going to have enough punch. But it can do Elite Argala, no problem. And yes, captains, we're taking a Shelfie. You don't know what that is. Those are ship selfies. And we're going to do that because this is like one of my favorite maps here to do so. And we're going to show off also our fighters beside us. Like that. I think that's pretty cool. All right, let's head out and then give our final conclusions. And yes, Picard's with us.
Engage.
Or at least the Terran version. So there we have it. That is the monitor. That's how it did in the Cure Advance. And of course, we had a ton of fun. Like a ton of fun. Captains, that's why we do what we do here on the bridge, is we just do this stuff because we just enjoy trying things out. And really, I find that my fun is more theme builds and things that we can make work for us, like I said, and get us through the content that we play. And that's the most important part. Captains, you can do anything you want as long as you're having fun. And that, again, is the whole point of it. So highly recommended to get not only the Hydra, but now the monitor. With that said, we're going to get our third ship, which is the Eagle. So look out for that. So captains, do us a favor, like the video, comment below, let us know how much fun you're having with the monitor. And again, I highly recommend it. And I'd like to know what type of builds you've put on this, but really the one that we did here, I've been having fun for the last week here, and it's just been such a joy. I've been laughing out loud, literally, every time we've taken this out for our nightly pew. So captains, with that said, subscribe to the YouTube Bridge, and we will leave it on this note.
Don't let them promote you. Don't let them transfer you. Don't let them do anything that takes you off the bridge of that ship, because while you're there, you can make a difference.